We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Here they come and get wicked. Here we go again.
Hey, it's Kennedy, my brother from another mother. What's good though?
Boy, happy New Year, brother.
Yeah. How long do you go before you stop saying Happy New Year?
I think if I have to see you right after January, I stop. Now here's the thing: if it's somebody I'm cool with and I don't see them until later in the year, I might extend that to February. But March, we into it. But it depends on like if it's a person that I don't really see all the time and we're not that cool, an associate or whatever, then by January, that's it. But February extended to people who I'm cool with.
See, I think that for me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna stop at MLK. MLK, we got a whole new holiday, bro. That's it.
I mean, I get that.
I'm giving you MLK is when the 14th. This MLK is the 22nd. Right? So if after that, it's a wrap. You don't get no more New Year's from me after that.
Okay.
New holiday. Any new this? I think we talked about that. Any new goals? I know you say you don't do resolutions.
Yeah.
What's gonna be new for you for 2024?
Nothing new. My word for the year is the same word I had from last year, which is downsized. I thought it was successful last year. We already had a great start of it this year, so that's still gonna be my word until I get to where I want to be with that word. It's gonna be that until I feel something different. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it, bro. What about you?
You know what, man? I think that I have last year, I think that one of the things that we were trying to do is that last year was the first year that if I recall correctly, was the first like real we outside day, right? It was like, all right, you know what? I think that we had 2022 where people were starting to kind of get back into the flow, but then 2023 seems to be that's it though. We were just all the way out. No regards to COVID and whatever, though, man. And so I think that it was getting back to normalcy, though, man. So I think that one of the things that I'm looking to do and I'm looking forward to doing more this year than probably any other time, though, man, is to link more with my people. So, bro, so I think that, like, for me, one of the things that I'm hoping to do more of, hoping to have more house get-togethers, man. Now that I'm in the new crib, trying to invite more people on nowhere though, man. Trying to get out more. And so, yeah. So I'm going to be on the scene like I used to be before COVID though, man. So I'm trying to get back to that. Not resolving to do anything, but a goal of mine is to get back out and do more stuff though.
That's what's up. Well, look, bro.
A lot of stuff.
We got a lot. And I doubt we're going to get through it all. So let's get this music popping off and then we'll get to it.
Let's do it.
If you smell, it doesn't matter what your name is.
Listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. Also, the Instagram page. Apparently, we're having some difficulties getting that jumping. But whenever we are live, we are going live on all 3 platforms at the same time. You click on the notifications, you click on the subscriptions, you get the heads up whenever your boys and is doing their thing. Ace Kennedy. Let's listen. Let's recap because we left off Christmas right before Christmas. Tell me how was Christmas first off.
Christmas was dope, bro. Everybody got everything they thought they was gonna get or didn't think they were gonna get. And in the midst of that, I have 2 birthdays, so I had 2 16-year-olds. So we had 2 birthday parties. Um, so Christmas was lit, bro.
Damn.
What about you?
I went on a cruise for Christmas, bro, and I had a great time. I'm gonna tell you how necessary it was for me. So in my house, I do the majority of the cooking. And when I say I'm doing the majority of the cooking, it's not just the cooking part, but it's also the planning. It's what we go, what we eating, what we're picking out the groceries. It's a whole process. So I was absolutely loving that I didn't have to even worry about it. Didn't have to. It was like the best part to me was that the ship has breakfast, lunch, dinner already, menu already set, and you have kind of a buffet or you have a seated breakfast or dinner. And whatever you like is what they got, and they have basically food available all around the clock, basically, though, man. So I love being worry-free, not even having to think about anything for dinner. That was probably the best part. I mean, we did some dope excursions too. We went out to Honduras, went out to Belize, did Cozumel, and did Costa Maya, Mexico. And I've been to Mexico several times, and so it was the first time I've gone to those 2 cities. So I think that the cool thing, though, man, it was my son's first time being out of the country. So it was real cool for him to really kind of take that in too. I don't think that it would be something he'd take for granted if he was smaller, right? If he was little, I don't think it'll mean as much. But I think that we were able to we did tours and of the different spots. And I like to see how other people live in those spots. And I think that when he was kind of looking around and saw that outside of the main touristy kind of area, there's this other area where people live. And I can appreciate that, what I'm saying? He was able to look at that and be like, wow, I'm blessed, what I'm saying? And so, but I had a dope time though, man. Really dope time. Brought in the New Year at the crib. Was made it just in time for New Year's Eve. So we were chilling though, man. I've been chilling ever since.
Nah, man. New Year's was so crazy for me. We went out and I sang with Avenue, which is Joey, and the girl Rhiannon was out there. My boy Melvin was out there. Brent was on the sticks. So we had like 4 different singers, man, and we sang from about 9:45 to 1 a.m, bro. Just going at it, doing them old school hits, like stuff we grew up off of. You know what I'm saying? We did, we did some of everything. We did country, we did R&B. Your boy was out there spitting like I was a real rapper.
Hey,
yeah. So it was New Year's Eve was dope, man.
Listen, we left off on a lot of things that happened. Give me the wrap up. Give me the rundown of 2023, what we left off on, what we didn't get a chance to talk about.
I mean, I don't know necessarily a wrap up of 2023. I just want to just kind of get into a lot of the headlines of stuff. I mean, it's going to be some new stuff. It's going to be some old stuff. I don't know where it falls in that. I know we at the beginning of the year, but stuff that already popped off at the beginning of the year. I think Katt has taken over 24 already. You know what I'm saying? The boy Dave Chappelle dropped a new special.
What'd you think about it?
Oh, man, I thought it was dope. I love Dave Chappelle because he's a storyteller. Like, he's a comedian. He's funny. But it's one of those things like Dave Chappelle is the MCU for me. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that the jokes are funnier if you've been around Dave Chappelle from day one. You know what I'm saying? Because like the last 3 specials that he had on Netflix, it was a series. So it's like he's building on jokes. And So when he's telling a joke and he goes back and does this, so this was more of the same. It's like a continuation of the MCU. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So if you've been down from day one, then you get the jokes hit a little bit harder. And so, you know what I'm saying? It's on Netflix. It's been there for 9 days now. So if you ain't seen it and you don't want the spoilers, then pause your boys for a minute and come back. But some of the highlights, bro, this when this boy said, when he said I'm off of trans people. He said I'm about to get on the handicap now, bro. I lost it, bro. Because it's the thing is that it's the facial expressions he was making when he knew he was saying stuff. And but it's funny because he said I'm not gonna talk about trans people, but there was still the undertone jokes up under it. It's just it's masterful comedic timing, just everything it's crazy, and it makes me upset because he came to Oklahoma City, him and Chris Rock when they toured here, and I didn't get the chance to see him. I
Mm.
did see Kevin when he came, but I didn't see Dave and Chris Rock. And so the fact to get to see it, and I came home because when I got home about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I saw that he had dropped the special, so I started watching it then. And yeah, man, Dave is I love Dave Chappelle, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I listen. I got to be honest. I saw it though, bro. Thoroughly enjoyed it though, man. I think that what I like about it is, like you said, the timing of it. I think that I like how there are points where you I what I like is I like when you don't see the joke coming, or even when you do see the joke coming and it's still funnier. Like it's set up in such a way to where even when you don't know where it's coming, and it's like, oh yeah, that was hilarious. So I thought that's the part that I enjoyed the most. You know what's funny though? As much as it is, I think that some people look at comedians, and Dave Chappelle might not be their cup of tea, not necessarily from his content, but his format, right? His storytelling way. It's like some people like I look at Dave Chappelle almost like somebody who may not like battle rap, right? Where it's lyrics, but it's no beat. And so I think that some people like that whole tell me a joke kind of thing and not necessarily tell me a story. So I loved it though. I absolutely loved it though, man. It's probably it's up there. It's in my top five of the recent it's in my top five of the Chappelles that I've seen though.
Yeah,
Which
me
one you
too.
got number
Because
one?
I don't know, because I like the set of the three, right? You know what I'm saying? I find myself, because people have now cut up clips of different stuff. So when I'm on YouTube, I can sit there and watch the clips of stuff, and it'd be just as funny as if I watched the whole thing. So I don't. I think I just enjoy listening to him, because even when he did like the what was it, the 851 or whatever, 846 or whatever, the one where he was talking about um uh George, uh I still thought, because he's such a storyteller, I can listen to Dave almost all day long. Like it just seemed like somebody's old uncle that just got a bunch of stories, and he's just really funny. So, it's just one of those things. Like I think what's different, right? Where Kevin Hart is like you're looking for the quotables from him,
Yeah.
whereas Dave, you just enjoy the stories, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I didn't see, I saw that there is I don't know even if it's a full set from the Chris Rock, Kevin Hart
It's not the
show.
full set. It's not. It
Okay.
all it is a document. It's a documentary talking about how they got to do the tour together. Um, a little bit of how they worked out jokes. How they it's just it's documentary. It's not the full stand up. I thought it was gonna be, but I watched it. It's just the documentary.
Now, also over the break, the horns, we lost. We took the L,
Yeah, we
right?
did.
We took the
I
L.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I didn't get upset. I say this. I wasn't mad because it was like, for one, I know that we lost that game. Like we had a lot of penalties, and Texas has all year has been very good about penalties. And then all of a sudden, this game, we just had a bunch of penalties. I still saluted the effort of the comeback, even though we were unsuccessful. So for me, college football was over. Like once that was done, I didn't watch this. I didn't watch the championship game. Didn't care about it. I mean, I know Michigan won, but I didn't care. Didn't watch it. Didn't care to watch it.
Listen, hold on. Shout out to. I'm not going to listen. I agree with you on some level on that, but I have to say this. I'd be remiss if I didn't say. Shout out to my boy Courtney Davis and the good folks over there at Cinematic Visuals, because he is a Michigan fan through and through, original Detroit native, and I know how big this is to him. So, but listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was disappointed that we lost to Washington because I honestly thought that we at our best was better than Washington at their best. And for that matter, I would say that Texas at its best was better than Michigan. So I was thinking like, okay, I would love to have me and my boys team go at it for the national championship, right? Plus, I still love the conversation that would have taken place with all of these teams now being, one-loss teams and all of that stuff. But either way, I thought even still that I thought we could have beat Michigan. I'm okay with Michigan winning, right? They had a long streak since they've lost, since they last won one. So I'm okay with new teams getting they go at it though, man. So I'm not mad at it.
I'm okay with Michigan winning for storyline purposes. I'm one of those guys. I love storylines. So you had the NCAA that came in and suspended your boy for the thief's gate of going to tampering and stealing team signs and plays and this, that, and the other. And so I thought it was a complete slap in the face to the NCAA that, okay, y'all took our boy away for 3 games or so, whatever. He come and we still win the national championship.
Listen, not just get to the playoffs, but win the whole thing, though, bro. It makes you look dog stupid.
Yeah, let's get into the real conversation, though. So, of course, people were up in arms because of the fact that you had these 4 teams that made it to the playoffs. So, what was your opinions that Georgia didn't make it, Florida State didn't make it, but they decided to put Texas and Alabama with Washington and Michigan? What were your overall thoughts of that?
The only real beef that I think anybody should have is Florida State. I think Florida State is the only one that had a legitimate beef. I think that there could be something said. Like, this is my thing. It's simple. Georgia, you go out and beat Alabama. We go ahead and do it. Listen, and don't get me wrong. I think that Georgia could have beat Michigan, right? I think Georgia could have beat any of the teams. I think that Georgia was just as good. But here's my thing. I don't know how you justify Georgia losing to Alabama and therefore losing the SEC championship, right? And then still putting them ahead of the SEC champion, right? But then aside from that, I don't know how you still put Georgia then ahead of the team that beat the guys that beat you handily, by the way. So from that regard, if you tell me that you're going to not put in Florida State, I'm okay with it being, and then listen, I'm gonna sound biased, but I feel like even with me being a Longhorn fan, if this was another team and you tell me that UCLA is in the same conversation and UCLA whips Alabama and they go out here and Alabama then beats Georgia and they all have the same record, then to me that's saying no, the team that beat the team is the team that goes on. So I'm okay with it. It's only Florida State that has a gripe.
I'm right there with you. Florida State should have been 3, Texas should have been 4 in the grand scheme of things. Now, now that we got that out the way, seeing Florida State get their anuses handed to them on a platter, did the college committee get it correct?
They did. And here's the thing. Two things I want to say about that. First off, I'm starting to hate OU fans, though. Listen, bro, I almost didn't care for OU fans. Like, it didn't bother me that they would throw the horns down. It didn't at all. Now they really are starting to make me mad though, bro, because I'm starting to feel like the only relevance OU has in their entire lives as a school is tied to Texas. I feel like, bro, like as a Texas fan, I could see if there were some teams where everybody hates us, right? And I'm not saying that's the case though, but if more people hated us, university people thought that we were overrated, that's fine. I'm okay with people thinking that Texas is an overrated school, fan base, whatever, whatever. I don't think nobody feels that way about OU. I don't think that nobody goes into it hating on OU. I think OU has no haters though, bro. And so to see that your last bit of hanging on to anything in sports is tied to Texas, you really are fans, bro. I'm starting to get pissed
Listen,
off
I
at
love
OU fans, bro.
I love seeing OU fans have Longhorn stuff on their cars and on their shirts and stuff. Like it just makes me smile. And I love for them to throw the horns down around me too, because I have the best response that they have no comeback to. And they just bust out laughing because it's like I understand. If they throw the horns down on me, bro, I say, listen, I'm sorry your wrist ain't strong enough to hold it up. They can't stand it, bro.
I'm starting to hate. This is my thing. The way I look at it is, maybe I look at it differently. If OU goes to a national championship and they're content, I don't root against them, right? Like I guess maybe that's what it is. I'm not saying I'm going to be thrilled that they win or whatever they do, but I don't look at OU, even if OU wins a national championship, I guess I don't really look at them being at a higher point of contention for a championship as a merit or one up over Texas, right? Like I guess I know that they're our rival. Right. I don't look at them like they're equals though, because their relevancy is tied directly to us. And I think that Texas is still relevant outside of the rivalry. So that's what, let me just say that for starters.
Well, to back that up, it's kind of what we heard this year, right? Because when OSU went to the Big 12 championship to play Texas, they know, whoa, we beat Texas, but you're not here though.
Yes, like bro, like stop playing. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't look at Texas like we're the Dallas Cowboys and everybody just root against us, right? Like I don't think that people like now being here in Atlanta and this is being more SEC country. I think that people here universally seem to hate Alabama. You either love them or you don't. I think that some people are impartial to Texas because you have more college teams to root for. But I think that just to have your sole identity, I honestly believe that people look at OU like, oh yeah, that's the Texas rival. They don't look at them for anything else except for being our rival game. But I don't think that people look, and that's just football, right? That's not like, oh, the basketball rivalry is the same, the baseball rivalry. People only look at OU as a football rivalry for Texas, and that's it. But if Texas goes to the SEC and OU stays in the Big 12, OU becomes completely irrelevant. In the grand scheme of football, they are no longer relevant without being tied to the hip with Texas. So stop acting like y'all ain't really fans of Texas that you just can't really root for like that, bro.
But the other thing,
they make me mad, bro.
I had a couple of OU people that were, I'll say this. Most of the OU fans I deal with, we cool. Like, it ain't no, it's the extremists, right? Yeah. So the extremists is like, oh yeah, y'all lost to Washington. You see, that's why y'all shouldn't have been there. I'm like, bro, first of all, did y'all win y'all's bowl game? No, you didn't. And then secondly, you were watching us on TV. Like, stop.
My thing is that it's not even the extremists, right? It's just the fact. It's just the conversation. It's just the vantage point of an OU fan. I look at as different as a Texas. I don't think that our identity is as a program. It's tied to it's like this. I want us to beat and to win the OU game every year. But I don't feel like if we win that game, Oh, that we done won the Super Bowl. Like, I honestly feel like for OU fans, though, bro, like they can go 0 for 12 in that one game. If they beat us, that they had a successful season. And I just don't look at our team being relevant or how good our season went. Don't get me wrong. I want us to beat them every time for bragging rights. But it's like, but aside from that.
This year was the example because we lost this year, but then we went to the college playoff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just another game for us this year. And I get it. It is a rivalry game. And of course we want to win it every year, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, the season doesn't stop for us at a loss to them. And I think that that's where it is for them. And I'm just like, no. But so that was, I had to get that on out there for one. But I think that, listen, Florida State, I want to say this is the thing that's bad. Florida State had 27 guys who didn't suit up for the game. Some of them, they were mixed. Some of them were injuries. A few of their key guys had announced that they were going to the NFL. Some have already declared that they were going to go ahead and go into the transfer portal. With that being said, Georgia had the same number of players, right? I think the difference is it was who, right? Once the quarterback went out, and you already have, once your starting quarterback goes out, and you say, okay, this starting quarterback is a contender for the Heisman, right? So he's getting all this hype. And you know that the backup quarterback is most likely going to go ahead and put his name in the transfer portal, which was happening, right? So then it's like, okay, well, what do we expect to happen then, right? Because now you're going to have the backup playing uninspired without his weapons. Top wide receiver gone, top tight end gone, right? Most likely top defensive player gone. You just got a bunch of guys that are now going to show up because their quarterback was down. And then not just that, you didn't play for the national championship. So what I listen, if anything though, bro, Georgia probably should have scored 80-some points on them, bro. Like, seriously, like I didn't expect anything less because at the end of the day, I think that there's a difference when you have only 5-star athletes on your program versus you having a 3 and a 4-star. It's levels though, bro. And I just think that in the end, I thought Florida State would have lost either way, but I do think that it's still the what if to me holds more weight if they're there with their starting quarterback. I think before their quarterback got hurt, I still thought they was going to get whacked.
You bring up something that I think is a bigger problem, right? They need to push the portal entry part after the season is over. That it's dumb. Like, this is my thing. You have worked hard to get to whatever place and bowl that you get to. People want to see the team that got there, not the team that's remaining after it's over. And so if you close the portal entry after the season is over, then that's when the trades and the transfers and this, that, and or whatever you want to call it, that needs to happen after the season over. After the national championship, the next day should be the conversation of where's everybody going. That's where it should be, not this in between stuff. Like, that's dumb to me, bro. Like, let the teams that made it there get there.
Does that also mean that coaches then shouldn't get fired midway through the season or leave? So if that's the case,
no.
If you're gonna leave, because let me finish it. If that's the case, though, right? If you're going to leave, if you're a coach, because you might not know if you're going to leave until the very end. So that means you can't announce it. You can't leave. I don't think coaches leave before the season's over with anyway, though. But I think
been people fired. There's been people fired in season, but that's But the difference is those are not the athletes. If you're going through your season and you 0-7 and that wasn't what you planned for your year, and you need a coach change, or you just saying like, look, we finna just do it. That's different from these kids, right? These aren't the professional athletes. These are the kids. My thing is that even if a coach is like, say if a coach is going to get a new job, that conversation along with the players and this, that, and the other, that conversations happen. We should be talking about that after the national championship.
Okay. That's fair. But here's let me put a spin on that, because here's the thing about it. So you think about that, right? So let's say you Florida State's backup quarterback. Right now, your starting quarterback who beat you out for the job, who's been taking all of the snaps basically with the starters all season long, beat you out for it, right? And you know that at the end of the season, you're going to go ahead and put your name in the transfer portal. You know that without a doubt. But you were on the team to start with. And now, because of that injury, you got to go out here and play against a Georgia, right? So that's cool. If you got everybody that's not in the transfer portal. But then because you're not in the national championship, your top wide receiver, your top line, your top defensive end, your top running back, all your top players have declared for the draft, and they're not going to play in the bowl game, right? So now,
that's what I'm saying.
So are you saying that you have to play
the season? Yes. What I'm saying is this: the reason why the reason why it is what it is because that's the way the rules are set up. But if the rules change to where your seat until it's like this, right? You can't be in week 8 of your season and be like, "Oh, I'm declaring for the draft, so I ain't playing for the rest of the year."
Yeah, Wait. You can do that for some years before NIL. Justin Jefferson did the same thing, and Parsons.
Okay.
Michael Parsons set out the whole season.
Listen,
but
let's say if you're gonna do that, then say by week 7. If you have to commit, you gotta. If you want to enter into the draft, you got to do it before week 7.
How do you know that though? But see, I don't think that's fair because this
is fair. It is fair. This is why it's fair, Charles. If you're on a scholarship for a set amount of time to be there, you're on the scholarship. My thing is that we have to get to listen. These are not professional athletes. They are at college. So my thing is that if you sign a contract to do this, unless you're saying that every year that's when your contract changes, until the season is over, that's when the moves happen. That's the way I think it should be.
I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. If you say everybody has to,
yes.
But my thing is that. But listen. But think about this. If you're Florida State's backup quarterback, who you intend to transfer, you're no longer going to be there. So now, right? You got to go out here and play against Georgia, who has a better team than you have, right? Yep. And so now you're playing out here without all the weapons because they're going to the league. They're going to they don't want to listen.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, but this is my thing. You can't. This is what I'm saying. You can force someone to show up, but you can't force after I'm going to declare.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
You're not hearing my last point.
I am hearing what your point is.
If you know that you're going to go to the NFL, then why would you risk injury for playing in a game that's meaningless to you?
Okay, and again, you're not listening to what I'm saying. That is the rule now that you can do that. What I'm saying is if the rules changed to where you can't do any, you can't if you're going to have a draft rule, right? If I'm saying that you're saying at week 7 is the only time before week 7, you can't declare to go to the draft until after the season. If that's the new rule, then you're going to have all the weapons. I understand what you're saying. That's the rules now.
It doesn't make sense. No, that doesn't make sense. What I'm saying, listen, this is my thing about it. This is my thing about it. Because there's no way that you can declare for the draft in week 7. Right, week 6, because you're still building your draft resume.
You just said that it's happened before. Okay.
No. So Micah Parsons set out an entire season. He didn't go out. He didn't play 1 game, 2 games. It's like he missed the whole season. I think Justin Jefferson missed, or Jamar Chase missed a whole season.
Okay,
so what I'm saying is
is that an exception or is that the majority?
Well, listen. So what I'm saying is that that's neither the exception nor the majority.
Okay,
it is a.
What I'm talking about,
it's a norm, though.
What I'm saying is, what you're talking about are the rules today. I'm not talking about the rules today.
No,
I'm explicitly saying, if the new rule, it doesn't listen. What you're saying, the combat to what you're saying is this: you're saying, well, they could potentially get hurt. They could potentially get hurt the whole season. So what I'm saying, okay, so all I'm saying is if they change the rules, and force you to play. Yes.
But that's my thing. How do you enforce? Listen, this one I'm saying. How do you enforce forcing someone to play who says?
I'm telling you that if it's in your contract, if you're playing for the school, you have to play the entire year to get your scholarship. The entire year includes the bowl game.
Well, that's the thing about it. You just said they're not professional athletes, so their contracts aren't going to reflect that. So you can't tell me. Listen.
Charles,
you can't tell me. Listen.
I can tell you when I'm telling you a change.
Listen, you can't tell me. This is what I'm saying. There's no way that you're going to be able to enforce. There's no way that you're going to be able to enforce that if I'm a top 10, if I'm rated as a top 10 draft pick, and you tell me that I'm playing in the Pop-Tart Bowl, that I got to go out here and risk playing in the Pop-Tart Bowl, my top 10 draft status, right? Because there's no way that you recover from that. If you go out there and you blow your ACL, there's no guarantee that you coming back to be a top 10 pick. So they opt out to it.
Charles, Jonathan Brooks plays for the Longhorns, and his knee is now gone. He still is entering the draft. What I'm saying is what you're talking about is the rules now. Just like a couple of years ago, people weren't allowed to get paid for playing.
Facts.
Until the rule changed. So what I'm talking about, I understand what the rules are now. We're talking about if the rules change, I want it to be that the team that starts the year is the team that plays in the bowl at the end of the year. That's all I'm saying.
I get that. And I understand that for transfer reasons. I understand that. But I'm saying that for declaring for the NFL, I don't think that there's no way that you can tell me that that a school or the NCAA would be able to force somebody to play in a bowl game. There's no way.
You know how they can? Yes, you can. If they made the rule change, yes, they can. It's Charles. There are many people that did not want these kids to get paid for play because they said, how you going to value one person over the other? That's
you've always been able to not play in the game. It was just recently here over the last 5 years that I've seen players just say, no, I'm good. I'm not playing.
And that's exactly why I said you're missing my point because yes, you are, because you're arguing. You're arguing something that is a rule now. The only way it would change is if there was a rule change.
But I guess that's my point, though, bro. This is my thing. That would be this is the equivalent to that. That's just like that's to me just saying like, okay, Ace, you have to show up for work, right? Yeah, you got bills to pay. You're going to come to work. But if you say, nah, I'm good. I ain't coming to work today. I got another job. I got something. I got other options. I'm not going to. There's no way that you can force a kid to play in a game, dude. It's just literally no way that contractually that you could force somebody to play in a game. Now, I understand that the transfer portal, I agree with you on that. But if somebody declares to the NFL and says, I don't want to risk my draft status, I don't want to risk the money. So, and back in the day, that didn't matter, right? I remember people still back in the day thought, no, this is an opportunity for me to prove and to boost my draft status. But my thing is that if you're saying, I don't want to risk the injury because, again, I'm going to be a projected top 3 pick, there's no reason for you. You don't got nothing to prove in the Legos Bowl.
Let me give you an example. If the NFL decided they were going to take away 2 preseason games and make them regular season games, but their contracts would remain the same, would there be an uproar about that?
Say that one more time.
If the NFL decided that we're going to take away 2 of the preseason games and make them into regular season games, so the season would go from a 16-game season to an 18-game season, but the contracts remain the same. Do you think the NFL, you think there would be an uproar about that?
So, yes, there would be uproar about that.
So but the league could technically make a rule they could vote on it or whatever they do, however they change the rules in sports. They could technically do that. And it would become the new rule for the NFL, right?
Right.
Okay. So the only thing that I'm saying is if they made it a rule for the NCAA that from this point on, to complete your season, you have to complete the season. Meaning, if your team makes it to a bowl game, you have to play in the game in order for your scholarship to be paid.
Ace, so this is the difference. The difference is in the NFL, you would have a union that would basically say, you know what? Yeah, you can extend the season out to 18 games, but guess what? You can't find this player if for some reason, if all of a sudden he got a growing strain, or for some reason his back is a little bit sore and he's not going to play in this particular game, because it's no different to me. It's no difference to me. Like, it's the opposite, right? It's the opposite of what the NFL tried to do to Russell Wilson. We'll talk about, right? Where they just like, all right, well, you know what? It's to our advantage to not play you right now, right? It's the flip side of that. But in college, because it's not set up that way, they don't have any representation. I get what you're saying, though, bro. I agree with you 1,000%. That
the point is,
you can't declare for the portal until after the season is done with. But at the same time, I think that there's nothing, even if you're going to declare for the portal, there's nothing that will stop you say, hey, there's nothing that will say, hey, I'm not going to be here anyway next year, so I'm not going to play in the game because I'm transferring.
There's nothing.
I'm going to be here.
There's nothing now because it's not a rule. But
there's
if you
no
made
way you
it
can
a rule,
enforce that, though. There's no way you can enforce. There's no way. No, there's.
It's just like a kid can't say in week 3, I'm not going to play.
You can. You cannot go on the field. That's what I'm saying. You can physically just not go on the field. You can get kicked off the team. You can do whatever. But what my thing is that you can't sit here and tell me that I played 12 games and that I know I've been here all 12 games. And the coach has not played me at all in all 12 games. And I know that when I signed this to come to this school, this coach basically said, oh, you're going to be my number one guy. And really, they didn't play me. They just didn't want me to go to another school. And when I say that I'm going to transfer, that you said, no, you got to show up. No, you didn't play me to begin with. So my thing is that I understand that you're saying you can't announce that you're going to be in the portal until after the season, but you can't force him to go out on the field. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's for safety purposes, but also from just giving your word. Like, not just aside from the draft. You know, a lot of these coaches are recruiting these kids out here with all these big grandiose promises of them actually getting on the field. And if you get out here and say, well, listen, it didn't work out like that, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to go out on the field, get injured, and also risk my ability to go play for another team, though, bro. Like, you can have that rule in place. I just don't – you can't force them to play the game. You can have them stay on the team and not leave the school, but you can't force them to get on the field, though, bro. It's just impossible, though, man.
It is possible. If the rule changed, the rule would change. It's very possible. It's just like it's just like every other rule that's made. Here's the thing: if they made the rule change and you disagree with it, then you just don't have to play.
Then what happens? So what composition? So okay, so we can jump on this one way longer, but I'm just saying, what happens then in the scenario where you have a guy who, again, he's going to transfer, right? He steps out on the field, and on the very first play, he does an Aaron Rodgers, right, where he blows out his knee. Now he can't. If he was a transfer student, he can't transfer now. But the other part to that is if he was a top 3 pick. Now, sure, he may have some insurance or whatever on him, but he can't. That's what I'm saying. I understand what your intentions are.
I'm trying to answer your question. It's the same thing that happens in the first part of the year. What is Jonathan Brooks supposed to do right now?
No, Jonathan Brooks has options. He's still declared to go to there because that was his own tuition fruition to do it.
And nobody's stopping anybody from choosing to go to the portal.
You can't make him
choosing
come back.
To go to the NFL. But what you can do is have people play for the entire season, which to include the bowl game.
That sounds crazy, bro.
Doesn't sound crazy.
I'm gonna be honest.
It doesn't sound crazy at all.
Crazy.
It does not sound crazy because, again, if there was a contract when you're getting your scholarship that says, hey, this contract for you is for you to play the entire season of the games, to include the bowl games. If that's in your, here's the thing: if that is the rule, and then you choose not to go to the school, then that's on you. That's the rule
So what
change.
prevents so then in that case, what prevents you from you stepping on the field for the first snap and say, all right, I fulfilled my contract. I'm still out. It's
And
the same thing though,
what
bro.
prevents you from doing that in week 1, week 2, week 3? Again, play this. You're playing. If you're paid to play, that's what it is. You're paid to play.
That's no. We talking about two different things, though, bro.
We ain't talking about two different things. No, we're
I
not
understand
talking
the
about
premise that you're
different
trying to
things.
say. That
Because the original statement was, "This is what I want." That's what I said. That was the original statement.
And I get that that's the original statement, and I understand that's your standpoint. I understand everything you're saying. I'm saying that to enforce that is impossible. That's all I'm saying.
And what I'm telling you is it's not impossible, because that's just like every other rule with any sport that's NBA, NFL, NCAA, any rule that they have come out and say, the point is you can either choose to do it or you can choose not to play. It's that simple.
There's no way you as a parent would tell your son to go do that, bro.
That's false. That's false. Me and Deuce have had conversations right now about him playing basketball where I've given him suggestions based upon, we can't get into his scenario on camera, but the stuff that he's going through at his school, we have had discussions, and he has the option on what he wants to do. That's false.
This is different. This is
not different.
This is way different, bro. There's no way that you would tell. There is no way that you're going to have Deuce as a star running back at OU, and he is a guaranteed top 2 to 3 pick, and they are out here playing in the Onion Ring Bowl that's meaningless to nobody. And then they say, and he has an agent that says, listen, Deuce, if you go, I would highly recommend you not go out here and play because you don't want to risk your draft status. And
if
then
it's
you tell
in the
Deuce,
contract,
go ahead and play because that's in your contract.
Yes, I'm 100%.
You're gonna tell Deuce to step foot on the field.
Tell Deuce
check right back out.
No, I'm not. I'm going to tell him that if it's in his contract, he has to honor his contract. That's what I'm gonna tell him. That may not be what you would tell Landon, but that's what I would tell Deuce.
No, I don't think so, bro. You
might. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
You might say that, bro. Listen, I'm gonna be honest.
You might say that.
You listen. You telling me what you would say. I'm telling you, I don't believe you, bro.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. But that's
I'm not saying you lying. I'm just telling you that you telling me the truth, and I don't believe it, bro.
But it doesn't matter that you don't believe it. That was never the point. The point was,
like I said, listen. You cry. Listen. You got to understand. You cried at the bowling alley, and you still say you didn't cry at the bowling alley, though, bro.
Do you have footage? Do you have?
Yes, I got proof. I got a witness. I got 5 other witnesses that you cried at the bowling alley.
Listen,
and
you brought your witnesses on camera, and they didn't even agree to it.
And so I have on good authority and on good historical facts of your behavior of saying something that I don't believe because I know the truth. Speaking
of people that don't believe other people, Katt Williams was on Club Shay Shay. Katt Williams was on Club Shay Shay, and Katt said, nah, that ain't how it went down. So basically what happened, Shannon ends up getting this interview at the tail end of 2023, and he was sitting on it. That boy was sitting on this thing.
Yeah, he knew.
He knew. His producers knew, and he said, hey, we got one.
We got one.
So Katt, they say the boy Katt, before the interview even started, he was already just panting, like just kind of just like, and so Shannon was like, hey, you need anything? You need some water? You need anything? And Katt was like, all I need is a microphone. So that boy, as soon as they turned that camera on, he went in on Said, he went in on Steve, he went in on Faison, caught a stray, one of the smoothest strays I ever seen.
A fat Faison lie.
Ricky Smiley called it. Kevin Hart called it.
Diddy called it.
What's my boy name? Gary Owen didn't catch it. He caught some love. Earthquake called it. Yeah. So
Let me ask you this.
what's up?
Has anybody came out and said he's lying, bro?
Faison did. Faison said he was lying. Well, I take that back. Faison had the weakest. Ludacris came out and said he lied.
Ludacris didn't come out and say he lied. Ludacris came out with a response that he flowed. I thought was dope, by the way. But I didn't hear Ludacris come back and say, you lying.
Well, because I think this is one of our favorite sayings. I think all things can be true, right? Meaning. So Ricky Smiley basically said, so first of all, Katt was like, look, I'm on here because I'm responding to everybody that you had on here. So all I'm doing is telling the facts that happened because you allowed these people to come on your platform and to tell you this, and I'm going to clear it up because I'm going to tell you the truth. So in a nutshell, Ricky was kind of like, look, when the original Next Friday, when we were auditioning for it, I was supposed to play Money Mike, and Katt was supposed to be Santa Claus. Now, the only thing that wasn't true in that statement was Katt was never going to be Santa Claus. Katt was always brought in to audition for Money Mike. I think that Ricky just kind of assumed that if I was called, because he was originally called in to be Money Mike, that must meant Katt was coming in to audition for it. So again, all things can be true. The way Katt was explaining, like, look, I wrote the lines for Money Mike, so there's no way Ricky could have been, like, could you even imagine him being Money Mike? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, they didn't even look factual. Like, that's the way he is thinking about it. Which, because he even said, like, I was 201 in the casting call to audition for Money Mike. So that's kind of where he was at. But I heard Ricky's response. Ricky just, he kind of gave him love and was just like, look, I ain't here to talk about nobody. I'm just going to clear some things up. He even brought his manager on and was like, like, what did I go audition for? And so even Ice Cube came out and to clear the air up. So Katt set the internet on fire, bro. The memes is out here popping.
How do you respond? Like, okay, so this is my thing about it. If you were some of the people named by Katt Williams, right? Yeah. Do you respond at all? Because it's damned if you do, damn if you don't. Because if you respond, people will be like, oh, he got him talking. You out here explaining. But if you don't, then people will go with Katt Williams' version of that, though. So it's like,
I'm usually one of those people that if it ain't true, then why am I even entertaining it, right? But I think in this instance, because Katt is responding to what has already transpired, so to speak, for most people in the interview that he named, like Ricky Smiley, all and said, right? Said had to respond because when he says that you stole a joke and now the internet goes and plays both the jokes back side by side, you have to respond, right?
Not just that, more stuff. So you know what's funny to me?
What's that?
Is Said the Entertainer recently, one of the jokes that he said that I thought was hilarious. I said that is brilliant. Was the Brahmanicious. You heard that joke?
I know I did, but go ahead.
So the Brahmanicious. So the Brahmanicious joke I heard said where he's basically saying like he meets this guy that was in the hood or whatever. He said, yeah, my name's CJ. Everybody call me Brahmanicious. So Said's calling this dude, hey, Brahmanicious, blah, 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 blah. And then said, he was like, hey, what's up, Brahmanicious, blah, 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 blah. And then Said's people said, no, man, his name is not Brahmanicious. His name is CJ. He said, you can call me by my initials, right? So I thought it was hilarious. I mean, it was rolled out brilliantly, timed and everything. My favorite Said joke, probably. And then come to find out that he actually had he pulled this from Designing Women, basically. I saw this old clip, and I was like, oh, come on. So now, with Katt Williams also, you have the side-by-side of that. But then it's like, all right, even if you pulled out some differences, right? You said, this was mine, and I was saying This is a direct pull, right? So I'm just like, I said, it ain't painting you in the best light right now, though, bro.
Yeah, and the thing is, I like Said's response because it's like, Katt threatened to punch him in his stomach in a very derogatory way. I like that Said responded with the little bit like, bro, don't let my age and my size and everything fool you. Like, you can still catch these hands. I did like the little bit of spice in that. I don't think Steve has responded. I haven't seen anything about Steve responding.
Steve Harvey is so. This is my thing. I don't think bro. Okay, listen. If I'm Steve Harvey's people, I'm telling him not to respond.
Of course,
he has nothing to win. He has nothing to gain by responding whatsoever.
No, absolutely not. Because of the fact, Katt already did you knew about the show where Katt and him was on the same show and he went out there and just used his time to roast Steve. Yeah. Okay. So Steve's career has just went here, right? I'm not responding either. I like Kevin's response. Like, Kevin just basically he gave him a quick little bar and then promoted one of his movies. You know what I'm saying? Just classic Kevin Hart. I thought it was brilliant.
I don't think Kevin Hart should say anything more either.
No. I don't think he needs to say anything more. I like what he did. Yeah. All Kevin did was just say, look, my ears to the streets too, right? Like, I know what just happened. It wasn't no threats of fights, nothing. He's like, look, get the hate off you, bro. Oh, by the way, check out my movie. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was dope.
Yeah. Listen, but listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can totally see why Katt Williams would absolutely hate Kevin Hart. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Why is that?
Because for one, did you see that he added Kevin Hart's ex-wife to his tour? That's hilarious, by the way. Chess move.
Yeah, but that was like what, 7 years ago when he did
No. That's right now. She's on his tour right now.
I get that, but that also happened like 7 years ago. Like when the Katt Williams beef started with Kevin Hart, he did that too.
It's still fresh. He did it again. It worked again. Okay, so listen. Here's the reason why. So the reason why, if I'm Katt Williams, why I can see why he would absolutely hate Kevin Hart is because Katt Williams has maintained in that Club Shay Shay interview that I'm always in my right state of mind. My mind has never been altered or had influenced by any hard drugs whatsoever, right? So even when he was drinking, he was like, man, I don't know if I need to give you something. He was like, you done drunk more than me. Alcohol is not influencing me. So if he's basically saying nobody can tell you a time that they went and did some drugs with me, nobody can tell you about this, the selling me, or nobody. He said you'll never be. So if you've maintained that if you've never been on drugs, but a lot of your downfall, right, has been associated with people saying, oh, you done went crazy, like they typically say, or for his case, also drug use also. And so then if you're Kevin Hart and then you go on the Breakfast Club and you say what Kevin Hart said, what Katt Williams said is true, or you went out and you told on your platform at the time, you're the biggest comedian. You're here, right? And you use your platform, your presence to say, I did some things that I didn't do. One, about the missing casting calls and appointments and everything. Because if you say that that's happened and there's no proof of that, given your platform, now the next person, that's something that's going to impact him as well. So that's one thing. But the second thing is to say that, well, yeah, he chose another path. They said, what's that? He said drugs. And so then if you're now perpetuating the main thing that people have tossed over Katt Williams as far as why he kind of so-called fell back, then I can totally see why, if you're Katt Williams, why you might despise Kevin Hart. Because rather than you using your platform to uplift, you chose at that particular point. And maybe it's because Katt Williams was coming to him. I don't remember the history of their beef. But when you use your platform to tell what Katt Williams said is a lie, then I totally get why he might have a problem with that, bro.
I mean, again, a lot of things in the situation can be true. Is because the thing is that what you have to remember, one, is that Katt didn't start this. I mean, Kevin didn't start this beef. He just always responded. So my thing is that it's only so long that you're gonna keep saying the stuff that you want to say in your specials or on your stand-up or this, that, and the other, and I have to hear about it. And because of my status and the companies that I represent and how I can and cannot move, there's only so many times I'm gonna hear that before I'm gonna have to say something. So I am okay with everybody defending themselves in the manner that they feel necessary, like how Luda responded in the flow.
Now, at some point, though, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know how you look at your wife the same without responding, because now he did clap at your wife, and at some point, ain't the wife gonna be, unless your wife is telling you,
wife and
don't
kids
respond.
is off limits, bro.
Yeah, so that's where, to me, it's like, all right, maybe it already got personal about my professional life, but once you go there, especially when it comes to the wife, then it's like, well, I don't know how you could just be sitting here having a conversation about how do you look your wife and not address that comment, though, bro. So
I think for that, that's where you just don't respond at all, and it's an easy on site. You know what I'm saying?
Because do you really want to see? Do you really want to see a couple of 50-year-old men out here throwing hands, bro?
I absolutely want to see Ali. I want to see Ali and Katt in the ring, bro. Especially when Katt just posted his 40. I want to see.
Katt Williams said that he ran a sub 4.340 when he was like 14, 13. I saw him, bro, and I'm impressed that he was moving that fast, but that was, they say he was a 4.47. He wasn't moving that fast, bro. I don't think that part was real, but they may have clocked him, they may have stopped it, but he wasn't moving at that fast, bro. Like, stop it, bro. That was Katt.
It might have been Katt, but the presentation was impeccable. My thing is at the end of the day, yes, I would love. Look, Ali said we can do it for charity. We can put the gloves on. Like, I'm all for that. Like, if Katt was agreeing to do it, but that's the thing, Katt ain't gonna do that because if he loses,
who's Ali? You keep saying
Ali. What is my boy's name, bro? He's a great comedian, bro. I've been actually watching him a whole lot more lately. I'll tell you his name, bro. I can't even say his last name. Ali. It's SIQ. Hold on.
Ali Sadiq.
Yeah.
Ali Sadiq is hilarious, though.
He is, bro. He's another great storyteller.
He's a very good, good storyteller.
Yeah, him and Katt.
Why would they have beef anyway?
Oh, bro, you need to listen to Ali. When we get off here, go on YouTube and just type in Ali and Katt, and you'll see he will actually tell you about the beef. But he's one of them. He's like, look, bro, I don't know what you know or what you think you know about me, but I have been in jail, and this is like
I did see where he tells a story about, when he was in jail. Mexicans got boots. The Mexican got on boots. He said he was in jail for a little stretch though. So either way, I didn't know that they had any beef.
Yeah, they got beef, and the thing is that because he's like, look, he ain't threatening to go hurt the dude like that. He like, look, let's put on the gloves. Let's do it for charity. You can have the money or whatever. You can give it to whatever charity you want. I just want you to catch these hands in a respectful way. You know what I'm saying? We ain't meeting in no dark alley. I like that approach because it's like, look, I know that there's no way I'm gonna be able to reach out and touch you on a personal way. Oh, I think I know what it was. I know exactly what the beef was for. Katt kicked him out of a building, kicked him off of a show. Like, Ali went to his car to go get something, and when he came back, the security guard was like, "We can't let you back in." Katt said, "You can't come back in." So that's where the beef was. But listen to the story; he'll explain it better.
Yeah, I see it now. I got it queued on up. I gotta pull it on up though, man.
Last thing before we get out of here, though, bro, we got to talk about this one because this is another one that's popping in the streets, bro.
You mean LeBron dunking on PG?
Nah, we ain't talking about that. Leave PG alone, bro. Hey, it was James Harden's face.
James Harden's face, bro.
Yeah. So look, Jimmy Kimmel versus Aaron Rodgers.
You gotta run this one down because
Okay.
I don't get this one. I didn't
Okay.
catch it. I only know that there's something. I don't know nothing about it though.
I'm gonna give you the straight abridged version because we low on time, but just so that you know. So you know, Jimmy Kimmel is a comedian. He has his monologues on his shows. So all throughout his monologues, he's always had something to say about Aaron Rodgers. Like when when Aaron Rodgers came out and they said the boy didn't actually get the vaccine, he took something else or whatever, right? And so he was calling him all kind of names, saying his IQ was he ain't got no IQ, he's a dummy. You know, he's always had something to say about Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers ain't really said nothing. So, what's my boy name? Pat McAfee, right? He's on ESPN, but he doesn't work for ESPN. He's a partner with ESPN, right? So Pat McAfee pays Aaron Rodgers $1 million to come on his show weekly, right? But that's out of his own money. That's not Disney paying.
I didn't know that because he got an $85 million deal,
right? But he pays him out of his own money. He pays Aaron Rodgers
52 weeks a year, and you're giving him $52 million to come speak.
Listen, Pat McAfee has been doing that before he got on ESPN, right?
$1 million. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Pat McAfee took a pay cut to get on ESPN. Before, like he had his own deal. He had his own brand. Plus, he was on WWE. Plus, he was on College Game Day. Like Pat McAfee doesn't need ESPN, right? So what happened was on one of the shows, they were talking about the Epstein list, and Aaron Rodgers basically was like, "Yeah, this list is gonna drop pretty soon. Can't wait to see who's on it." Woo. Jimmy Kimmel on his monologue was like, "You see this boy talking about this list? Like, I don't understand why he's even focused on the list." Woo. Just kind of going in on Aaron Rodgers. So then the next time Aaron Rodgers is on Pat McAfee, he says, "Oh, I see people though. I guess they don't believe the list is coming out." He said, I will say there are probably some people that don't want to see if this list is true or not, like Jimmy Kimmel, right? So they all like, oh. So most people took that he was implying that Jimmy Kimmel was on the list.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Kimmel, he's off the jokes. Now he's clapping back on Twitter like, "Yo, bruh, I don't know who you think you talking about or whatever, whoop, but my family is in harm's way now because you brought my name up and you associated me with Epstein, and I ain't never been on no plane, met or did like he took it real serious. Like, and we gonna take legal actions because of this. So then, of course, that's the way the internet was like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers says that Jimmy Kimmel's on the list." Aaron said, "Bruh." So now everybody's like, what is ESPN gonna do? Because Jimmy Kimmel is on ABC, which is under Disney, and then ESPN has Pat McAfee, which is under Disney. So what are they gonna do? Because you got these two alphas who, like I just told you, Pat McAfee don't need ESPN, and plus they have no say on what his show is. He already said, if I come on do this show, y'all don't get to tell me how to run my show, right? So Pat McAfee apologized not for what Aaron said. He just kind of said, "Listen, we get on here, we crack jokes, whatever. I felt like Aaron Rodgers was just cracking jokes. You know, whether you think he went too far or whatever, whoop, whatever. But at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, if it went too far, we that ain't what we about. We just be on here cracking jokes." So Aaron Rodgers finally responds and he says, "Listen, I'm quoting me. All I said was, I don't think that he wants to see the list come out. I never said that he was on the list. I never called him a pedophile. I never associated him with Epstein, whatever. This is what I said," which is, you know, verbatim, He said, "Now, if his name is on the list or whatever, then whoop. So basically, they going head to head, bro. But like I said, ESPN kind of got to throw their hands up because it's like, What are we to do?
Hey, listen, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I almost dislike all things when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. But I'm on his side on this one, though, bro.
I'm on this side too. I'm on this
And
side
listen,
too.
because I hate people that do what Jimmy Kimmel did. Like
Yeah.
I hate the people who I hate. I hate the people who try to poke the bear and you get punched in the face and you want to call the police, or you get slapped in the mouth and then you want to sue. So I think that's where I look at it. It's cool when you do it and you say all these things, but when I reply back, now you want to talk about judicial legalities. You want to talk this, but that didn't matter that you gave your opinion about me. You just said something, and on your platform, which is bigger than Aaron Rodgers, people can take what you said and run with it. If you say on your platform that I'm a bumbling idiot, that I'm Bonnie Fife or whatever, then people are inclined, from people who support your platform, are going to run with what your opinion of me is. So when I clap back at you, now it's like, oh, okay, well, now you threatening, now you got my family and danger. Like, nah, you didn't think about what even though if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't have any kids, that I'm worried he don't have any kids. But what about what people think about my family? Somebody might press my mama about stuff that you said, though, bro. So from that regards, though, man, nah, I don't like Jimmy, because to me, it's like you took the sucker route. Like, I'm not expecting you to be like, oh, we're going to hold court in the street, blah, 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 blah. But my thing is that just told me that you can make a joke, but you can't take a joke, bro. So get out of my face with that, bro.
Yeah, that's exactly the same way that I felt, man. Especially once I got the facts, because again, I was listening to the headlines until I went and heard the stuff for myself. The headlines was making it feel like that Aaron Rodgers came on there and said, nah, bro, you a pedophile. And that's not what he said at all. That ain't what he said at all.
Get out my face, bro. Get out my face. And now it makes me, because this is my thing, though, bro. That would just, to me, that would be like if a comedian is making, that would almost be like if Katt Williams went and dropped all these bombs on everybody. And then when they start clapping back at him, that he basically says, well, I'm about to go ahead and get my lawyer to contact y'all. Like, no, because now it to me, it invalidates everything that you said, and you were trying to be a truth teller and all that. Now, when you go ahead and listen, anytime you get lawyers involved, to me, when you start something like that, to me, it's different to me when you say, when somebody just told a flat out lie on you, right? So now you got to go ahead and get the lawyers on it, because now you're suing that person for slander, whatever. But if you started this conversation and you basically implied something, you gave your opinion about me and I clap back at you, and your response to that is to get your lawyer, that to me is equivalent to somebody who talks all this other stuff, and when you see them and it's on site, they call the police. Like, you wasn't about all that smoke like you said. So yeah. Nah, I don't like that, bro. I'm very rarely on Aaron Rodgers' side. I think that most of the time, I don't know why Pat McAfee and them put so much stock into what Aaron Rodgers has. I look at that almost like how Dave Chappelle was like, who the hell wants to know what Ja Rule think about politics, though, bro? And maybe Ja Rule is great at it, but it's still, though, it's Aaron. Like, I don't find Aaron Rodgers' take on things to be that great. So I'll
tell you why it makes sense. For one, Pat McAfee is a former football player.
Sure.
He played for the Indianapolis Colts. He was a kicker. So a lot of the stuff that they talk about is mostly football related. When they have him on, they're asking him questions about football.
Sure, that's fine.
The other thing about that, when Aaron Rodgers got hurt after Hard Knocks, after the introduction, Aaron Rodgers running on the field with the flag, the next day after his surgery, the first person who gets the call is Pat McAfee. Not ESPN, not Stephen A, not Skip Bayless, not Shannon Sharp.
That's cool, but he's just one of thousands of guys in the league, though.
But here's the thing, though. Apparently, somebody wants to listen to him.
Yes,
and his ratings has went up.
I agree. I agree with you. I'm just surprised. Like, maybe it's just me. I'm just surprised that people find him that interesting. That he would pay him $1 million.
But they found him. They found him that interesting, though. Before, because this was. You got to understand. they were talking to him before he made the decision to go to the Jets.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about why they find him interesting. I'm just saying what people in general. I don't find him to have the most dazzling personality.
Yeah.
I find him evasive with answers. And don't get me wrong. It could very well be that it could very well be possible that everything Jimmy Kimmel said about Aaron Rodgers, I might agree with every single thing that he said. I guess I just don't like the actions though, man. So
yeah.
nah.
Not with you being a comedian, though.
Yeah, comedians should have the toughest skin, bro.
Yeah. They also used to get Saban on there a lot too.
They have him on there all the time, though, bro. They have him on there like almost every Monday, bro.
Yeah. So
yeah.
He knows how to do it, bro.
And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, though, bro. I don't even find I watch his show only when I have it on First Take and I walk away and I'm doing some work and I over here. I'm gonna be honest. I don't find him and his show very entertaining. Like I was when it first came over to ESPN. I never watched it before, so I was like, all right, let me see what's happening.
I watched it before ESPN because of the fact from the WWE standpoint, right? He used to have a lot of the WWE guys on there, and then when he had his WrestleMania moment, like. It's one of those things like when you in the grassroots with people and then you watch them, glow up. I think it's dope. So I watched him before the ESPN.
I don't think that his like this. I think that because he's a former player, I don't think that his opinions or his takes are so strong on NFL teams and players like it could be. But I think that I do like his opinions on college, but it's also because he doesn't have that kind of camaraderie, that former player tied to him. I don't know, man.
This is what I love about
Pat. By it though, bro.
Pat doesn't hold his punches, and that's what I think is dope. For instance, I just told you of his connections with Disney and ESPN, right? And he just got on his platform on ESPN while they're on ESPN and dogged out the head executive of ESPN on his show.
I did see that.
It was dope because
I didn't understand the context of it though.
What he said was, so what it is right. They released these numbers that, when you're talking about ratings and stuff like that, well, they were leaked. And so he's like, bro, these leaks have been happening even before the Pat McAfee show. He said, people are trying to sabotage us. And this is where the stuff comes from because you're the executive. This is where it comes from. And you tried to sabotage my show, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, and called him out by name, da-da-da-da-da, and then was on college football, the playoffs, the championship game was that night.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that, bro, that he ain't holding his tongue for nobody.
Maybe. Like I said, I'm not as it's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, bro. If you put our show on ESPN, it's straight. I don't think it's any. It's just like I guess that's my thing. I guess I don't see the Joe Rogan dynamic of it. It's cool. Like it's a couple of the homies. I guess I maybe because I'm still new to his show. I'm not wild by it. And not to say that he's just completely whack. I'm not wild either though. So,
but I think you should watch the actual.
I like him
versus the ESPN show.
No, it's the same thing though. It's the same show live. It's the same thing live. It's the exact same show, but it's live on ESPN.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do like him as a contributor to WWE. That was my interest in the show, right? That aspect of it. I love him on WWE, but it's like outside of the WWE aspect of it, I feel like when it comes to him talking about sports, it's football in particular, because he's still so connected. He's not that far removed from being a player. I don't think that, like, Shannon Sharp has no problem at all with calling someone terrible, right? Or saying someone drops the ball too much, or saying someone is awful. Like, if that's how you truly feel, and I feel like Pat McAfee still kind of, holds back something. And not that he holds his tongue on topics, he'll speak on it. But in terms of holding players accountable, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any takes from him that I thought, oh, that's a hot take. And I thought that it was a genuine This is how he really
yeah,
feels.
yeah. Then you ain't watching them long enough then.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Because I might.
He does not hold his tongue. Like as a matter of fact, at one I'm gonna say this so we can get us out of here. At one point in time, right, the NFL had basically told them, you guys are not even allowed to say the word NFL on y'all show because of the things that he was saying. And he was like, look, and he got on this show, was like, look, the Pigskin Football Federation told us that we can't say X, Y, and Z, but they don't pay us, they don't do this. And then the next thing you know, there was a deal done. And then he came out and said, but it was the explanation and the fact of how he wasn't holding his tongue, saying, like, I don't get paid to say what I say. Like, I say me and my boys are just sitting here having a conversation and we say what we see. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I respect that because he's been that consistent. When Brett Favre sued him and Shannon Sharp, same thing. He got on there and spoke about it. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's very transparent. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah. No, I gotta see. I'm still watching. I'm giving him a chance. So far, you know, if he ain't entertaining me, I'll flip to Colin Cowherd, who I'm only entertained by. I think sometimes he's still more like a shock jock.
Yeah.
But I like how into what he is. Like I think that sometimes he might say something that's shocking. And a lot of times, I don't know if it's just his conviction behind it or if he's just talking just to stir the pot, though, man. So some people hate him. Some people love him. I'm somewhere in between, though. And maybe I'm somewhere in between with Pat McAfee as well. But it's also because I'm somewhere in between. I'm not married to just I'm not completely fanning out over his stuff just yet, though. So
yeah, no, I get that. Well, let's listen, man. This is the new year. And we ain't even make it to half of the topics. So it's going to be an interesting 24 for the Slash Brothers. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Happy New Year to everybody. And yeah, we held y'all a little long today, but that's because it's the beginning of the new year. And, you know, it's going to be cracking this whole year. We appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us.
Slash Brothers out.
Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker?